Welcome back, War Room fans. Game 10 of the global game. Wow, we're already up to 10 games, huh? Well, the guys got together on Saturday. I was not able to make it due to Mother's Day and all kinds of stuff going on. So they made it through 3 turns. So we're picking up on turn 4. So here's where we stand on the morale track. So let's just start over here in the Pacific. We can see the U.S. is slowly moving over. We've had our big confrontation down here in P-18. We got 1 carrier for the U.S. still left against 2 battleships and a sub down here. Up here, notice the Russians bailed out, but we'll get into that. Japan's really building up here in the north, but so is China. Got our big battle in C3, where the Szechuan chicken is found. And notice the British are in Burma. Huge stack over in India. Those upside down ships are actually land units. Those aren't ships. So we can see over here, Japan still got the back door covered. But Australia's looking pretty good. So that's where we stand there. We'll scan over here to America. Got some guys coming over, building a battleship. Got some land stacks, getting ready to head on out. Then as we come around here, we're looking to Moscow. Got like 14 guys, but they got an 8 stack and a 4 stack right on the next door. Got some planes in there. It looks like the Axis are bringing up a bunch of reserves, but the Russians still have a bunch of guys in the Caucasus. They're building in the Ukraine. So over here, look at a huge stack in Germany. Now this is interesting. The Russians bailed up here so they wouldn't get killed, and they're down here in A6 trying to get in on the backdoor Germany plan. Canadians are coming over, but the U.S. is down here in A15. So it looks like they're going to start coming up into the Med. Egypt is looking pretty good. That looks like a 7 stack down there. So, got a plane down there in South Africa. So this is where we stand at the start of turn 4. So we're getting our orders written right now. And we'll be back after orders in turn 4, where it's Bryce and myself as the allies against Coach as the Axis powers. So talk to you guys in a bit. Okay guys, we're back at the end or the middle of turn 4. Let me come over here. So the turn order, US bid 1, Japan bid 1, everybody else went 0. US won the draw, so they went bottom, Japan went top, and everybody else filled in.
Oh, make sure you tell everybody that we're playing with the added rule that Japan can win by taking.
Oh, yes. We are playing that optional rule that we talked about, Bryce and I did, that if Japan takes either India or Eastern Australia and takes either Alaska, Western, or Hawaiian, one of those, they win the game. So we're playing by the Pacific scenario victory conditions. So basically, we're bringing over our naval. We're having our big battle down here in P-18. Our Solomon Island campaign still rages. Up here, Japan's coming in to the north. China's going to try to hold. Down there in Szechuan, Britain came up. Over here, everybody's hanging out. Germany brought it in. They brought everything they possibly could, minus that 14th air stack, into Russia, or into Moscow. You can see the Russians came up into Volga. The British came up into Caucasus. They're reinforcing behind the lines with the Italians. Got some more reinforcements coming up here. Russia is going into Norway. Britain, because they're not being threatened at all, sent it all off into A6. Down here, the sub is convoying. The Americans are coming up down there. And the Americans sent everything into the Med, their fleet and their fighters and bombers into M2. So we're having a big showdown over there. Just hanging out status quo. Got a fighter coming up from South Africa. But here it is. This is the first battle of probably many coming up for the Battle of Moscow. So notice the Americans are bringing some planes over, and they're bringing over another, looks like a 6-stack to the south. So that's where we stand. And some planes are coming over, Russian planes trying to get into the action. So that's where we stand at the end of orders in turn 4. We'll see what happens after combat. Welcome back, War Room fans. We're here at the end of turn 4. So we can see Germany jumped up 1 to labor and civil unrest as the citizenry was upset that Norway fell. Then down there, French Morocco fell to the Americans. Out here, we're still looking at each other. But in here, the British, or the Americans, couldn't finish off the Italian fleet. We had a tactical mistake. We were overthinking it. And it basically came down to, we could have killed the battleship and left one of his subs, but we still had 11 rolls, so we elected to kill the sub, and he had 1 hit on the battleship. We figured we could hit 2 reds, on 11 dice, and, well, that was folly. We completely whiffed. So the lesson of the day, guys, is if you can kill a battleship, you kill the battleship, and don't worry about it. That's the lesson of the day. So you can see Italy's building up some planes, building up a little of everything. Getting a fighter in Germany. Up here in Leningrad, the Germans decided that's their new naval base to build out of. So they got a cruiser and a sub. Up here, Germany held, or Russia held against Germany. But we got a big stack in the 57th. We got those whites out now, so that's like an 8-stack. So it looks like Moscow will hold on another turn. We'll see what happens down here with the navies. Over here, see the British still got that large air stack. They're building 5 guys in India. Talk about the British. They got those 2 guys off the coast in A6, so see what Britain does with those. Over here, China held. They still have like 12 guys in there. Took Szechuan. Down here, those battleships could not kill the American aircraft carrier. We only got 1 sub of his. And you can see the Americans are coming over, slowly but surely. Notice America's building up, since they screwed it up in M2, they're building up a reserve fleet off the East Coast. And a strat bomber hidden over there. So that's what we look like at the end of turn 4. So we got our big battle of Moscow coming up. Our big battle in China. And we'll see what happens over here in Europe. Seems like we're playing a little cat and mouse with each other on what we're doing. So we'll see what happens halfway through turn 5. Welcome back, War Room fans. Here at the end of game turn 5. So, the cataclysmic Battle of Moscow. When it was all said and done, all Germany had left was 1 infantry. They rolled 29 dice against our 30, and they got just hosed. I mean, his second batch of 10, he rolled like 4, I think he rolled 4 reds and 2 whites, and he clean slated like 1 artillery and 1. So he basically, in a second batch, he missed 6. His first batch, he rolled 3 reds. His second batch was just futile. It was horrible. I mean, he couldn't roll anything. And the Russians were just hitting it on all cylinders. So we got one last follow-up battle. But notice here, guys, Germany just went into dysfunctional infrastructure. So all that rail line is down now. So that's it on the Russian front. They can't rail in reinforcements. Now, they could build up there, but they can't rail in anymore. The Russians now came into Finland. All the British landed in Norway, so they're coming over this direction. We convoyed the crap out of A5. Convoyed the crap out of here. I mean, we hit basically every convoy down here. I mean, we took, I think, like 7 resources in total on convoying. We strap bombed Leningrad. We blew up his navy that he was building up there. We strap bombed into Italy, put one infrastructure, took out his navy he was building. America came over, and the Italians dumped all those guys down in here. We had a big 8-stack against their 6-stack. We basically just smacked each other. All the U.S. has left is 1 armor. But notice, though, we got the 73rd here. We got the 42nd on the reinforcement chain. Next turn, the 82nd. You know, so the Americans now have the reinforcement chain coming in. Up here, Germany, you know, they brought some guys down into Italy thinking we were going to come off into M2, but, you know, up here, China, once again, I mean, when it comes to the dice rolling, China just went bonkers insane and just destroyed them. They had like 12 guys, Japan did, and they're all dead. They could not miss. And Japan couldn't, I mean, they were rolling greens like there was no tomorrow. Down here, Japan sunk the American carrier finally. But they did get in, you know, another fleet up here. We're getting ready for the Burma showdown. Try to get punch into India. They did strap bomb India and blew up 3 of the reinforcements. So, as you can see, the Americans took Wake Island, and now they're bringing guys over. Got another fleet coming up. We got a cruiser back there. We didn't do production because Coach threw in the towel. So it's over. Once the Axis got blown up at the doorsteps of Moscow and destroyed up here in C4, Coach said, that's it. No more. So that's where Game 10 ends. Allied victory. So, a little final scan here. What's going on? See, the Americans are really strung out here in the Pacific. But that's how the game's going to end. At the end of game turn 5. After 2 cataclysmic Allied dicings in Moscow and in C4.
And just as a quick aside, we did play with adding the Japanese victory rules, and it's only 1 data point. But I liked how it worked because there was definitely, at least the way we play this game, there's definitely more action in the Pacific. Okay. So I think we'll try it again.
Yeah, we'll try it again, and you know, we'll keep playing with that, and until Japan just starts pulling a global 40 Axis and allies on us and keeps winning every single game, like the Japanese seem to do in Global 40 when the Axis win. It never seems to be Germany winning in Global 40 for some reason. It's always Japan. But that's a different game and a different point to be made. So here's how the game will end. So in our global games, that now takes the Allies up to 6 wins and the Axis to 3. So that's how it's going to end up, guys. So gave you guys the last final look at the map, and I will be back with you guys with some more strategy sessions and discussions and another global game coming up at some point here. Talk to you guys later. Bye.